Good. Irkutso, please sit down. How many of you know Telugu? Only one. The rest of them all know Hindi. National language everybody knows. Good. Tamil, Kannada. Tamil, Kannada. Good. Marathi. Bengali. The rest of them will be Hindi though. Be all right. Oh yeah, please.
Shall I start? Om Shri Sai Ram. You want to mute that computer? Loving pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet and prayers to him to bless this session with his divine presence every moment. I now request Shri K. Chakravarti Sir, the Chancellor of the Shri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning and the senior most member of the Shri Sathya Sai Central Trust, to please light the lamp and thereafter bless us with his words of guidance and wisdom. Over to Chakravarti Sir.
Expert what, teacher?
Sir.
It's done.
Please come. Silent.
Ganeshaya Namaha, Saraswate Namaha, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om.
We now request Chakravarti Sir to bless this special occasion where members of our multimedia team have come from far and wide. They're already experts, they do a great job, but they want to take Vidya Vahini's multimedia to the next level. And their aim is to be the best in the world. So we need all the blessings and guidance from our elders. Thank you. Over to Chakravarti Sir.
None of us here can take the liberty of blessing people here. All blessings will have to come only from Swami, and we can at best be conduits. So, all of you are very much into this program for considerable length of time, and you know, I'm glad that you're I don't think you require. My voice can reach that much. Not a feeble voice. Anyway, I'd like to know your place of work, and how long have been associated with this. Let me take a few minutes before you start your deliberations. You are from which state? Which part of Kerala? You studied there?
I studied here.
Here? Which year was that? 80? 88 to 95. You must have seen me. Which class were you there?
I from 11 to my master's.
Plus 2 year. Then,
Masters.
which subject?
Mahajan.
Mahajan had left already by then.
Mahajan.
Was he there for 1 year, 2 years? He was there. Kripanidhi must have been there at that time.
I don't know. So,
Who?
I don't know.
Bhairumurthy was there. That's what he also come from Andhra University. Good. What about you?
My name is Logendra.
Yogendra or Logendra?
Logendra.
Logendra.
I am from Trichy, Tamil Nadu.
Did you attend St. Joseph's College? National? Or you didn't study at all in?
I studied in
Oh, you're a Gindi product. Since how long have you been associated with this program?
very recently joined the
I'll read on that.
recently joined the company.
You are working now in Madras, Chennai?
I work in Trichy.
Work in Trichy itself. Good, good. What was the last occasion when you visited Sri Rangam temple?
We have a Trichy Mandir in Sri Lanka.
So, no, Srirangam போயிருக்கியா எவ்வளவு எப்ப போனேன்
கோயில் தான்.
கோயிலுக்கு தான் என்ன அங்க போனேன் என்ன சாப்பிட்டு போறேன்
Srirangam Devi our Swami Mandir here exists.
that what about you?
My name is Naga
Naga Suresh Kumar.
I'm from Marshall.
Macharla. ఎక్కడ చదివారు మీరు మాచర్లలో సేవదల్ల ఎప్పుడు జాయిన్ అయ్యావు 6 months back. What about you, woman? Little louder. You can raise your voice, I suppose. Raise your voice. Not able to. Okay. వాళ్ళకే కావాలి దీన్ని మనకు అవసరం లేదు. Orissa, which part of Orissa? Your friend from Orissa is here. What about you in the corner?
My name is Abhishek Ganpati from Mumbai. I studied here from 2006 to 2009.
6 to 11. Which branch?
BCom honors, and I actually my MBA here.
Yeah. 2011.
2011, I did my BCom. After that, BCom 68 and
30.
2019.
2019. What about you, youngster? You must be the youngest person around, isn't it? மையப்பன் ஆமாயா எந்த ஸ்கூலு எந்த காலேஜ் அம்பத்தூர் when did you graduate still what about you you are also still studying or okay
My name is Dinesh Babu. I am from Maharashtra. I have been studying for 20 years. Computer science and
school
currently I was doing it.
How is this school? Swami school? Yeah.
Yes.
Macharla.
Yes,
You
yes.
said it's good?
Very good. We did the training of all the teachers recently.
I have seen from the starting line to the 69. Yeah, he gave the- So, I compared that with the- it's actually better.
Next question I was planning to ask you. Are you brothers from Macharla? Good. What about you?
Sir,
No, please sit down, sit down.
I'm based from Bangalore, Patna Samiti Committee also. My family, my wife, and my
I
son,
know.
they're all into it.
Very good, very good. Your daughter is it? What are you doing?
I completed my 12th. Completed my 12th standard.
12th standard. You were to join college, university now, college.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
Which are the priority for you?
PS, Diana Sagar in Bangalore.
Dayanand?
Bangalore.
No, which college?
Diana Sagar, BIT.
Dayanand Sagar. Yeah.
They are also trying.
Birla Institute of Technology. Is it BIT? What does it mean? BIT? Bangalore Institute of Technology. Which Tilani has one in Hyderabad, doesn't have in Bangalore.
No, no. Hyderabad, Goa, both places, now Goa and Hyderabad.
What about you?
Hello,
Please sit
sir.
down. Sit down, sit down. You?
Yeah.
Yeah, please sit down.
I'm Rajesh.
No, but I think your wife also has to introduce herself, apart from being Mrs.
I'm Nandini.
Nandini.
Yeah. I read the meetings and all.
You- Your home is Bangalore city?
Yeah.
Oh, you studied there,
Yeah.
born and brought up.
Yeah, born there, but we have been in North different jobs.
What about you?
Sir, I'm Rajesh, sir. I'm Rajesh, I'm currently residing in Hyderabad. I worked in Hyderabad campus for 30 years. I'm retired now. In the Department of Commerce.
When did you retire?
Sir, when you were registered, I joined Hyderabad campus.
And you are not interviewed by me for the university.
I retired in 2020 and after retirement, I joined India.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm from Hyderabad, basically from Tamil Nadu. Husband is working in Hyderabad. So yeah. I'm
He is the one helping others with mic, is it?
2006 pass out out of the best.
2000?
6
I see. What did you do there?
commerce, e-commerce. And I'm
Oh, yes, your student. Okay. Okay. Now you are in Hyderabad? What about you, ma? Yeah,
Hello, sir, I'm Swati.
Swati.
I'm from Singapore.
Oh, long distance, I must say, across the ocean.
Currently, I'm working as
You are
IT.
staying in India for some time, is it?
Actually, my son was staying here.
Oh,
My son also recently joined this primary school.
where did you join?
Primary school.
Oh, here. Oh, I see. Where did you have your education?
Education center in Andhra, Vijayawada.
Vijayawada. Graduation?
Still in Vijayawada. Yeah.
Paneer. In those days, there was Laila College, Andhra Laila College. Is it all right now? Getting on well?
I'm with Vijayawada from 2016.
16. Good. Good. Thank you. What about mine? How long have you been associated with this program? What about you?
Ravi, go back to Chennai, but Ravi lived in Mumbai for about 20 years. Now working in Bangalore.
Father is still in Bombay?
No, no, parents have relocated to Bangalore.
Oh, ikkada unnara?
I've been with Ravi on and off with parents. So I experienced my family better now, so we can always back.
Otherwise, you stay in Bangalore, is it?
Between Bangalore and Pakistan.
Where did you study, you said?
In
What- Which part of Kerala? Attapal. There are a lot of people who speak Tamil from Attapal. You also speak Tamil? Yeah. Okay. Because I know him. Yes. I don't know. Good. You have residence here, is it? In Patti? What about you? Sai Priya.
Sai Supriya.
Supriya.
I am from Kerala, but like I live in Bangalore. I'm currently in grade 11.
Which level?
Grade 11.
8.
11 standard.
What is that called?
Grade
Otherwise, grade 11. I think most of the people here introduce themselves as +2 first year. Isn't it? Okay. So I know you.
Myself, Deepa Chilson, Kochi, currently in Bangalore. And wife. Yeah, it's my daughter. Recently.
Oh, she's your daughter.
Recently also.
Good, good. Oh. Nice. Occasion son was here.
Yes, yes.
Sairam.
Sorry. When the post, we started the first on 2010. First school that we adopted was in
2010,
This office
when
was-
Swami inaugurated.
Swami visited to us.
What about you? Who is the better half? I don't know why they call it a better half. So they know that these days husbands are better half, isn't it? I see. Good. What about you? Lakshmi. Sri Lakshmi. Lakshmi itself is Sri. Isn't it? This is a Sri raised to the power of Sri. Good. Where did you study? Law. You never thought of practicing? Good. So most people do that. From the National Law University, very few people wear the black gown. They're all corporate, including her son.
Including Prabhasan also. Prabhasan also went national.
I see. Yeah. He's finished his MBA. Is he in Calcutta or where is he? In Bangalore. What about you? Why are you standing? You don't have a chair there or so many vacant chairs are here? Organizers need not have to be standing though. Berlin. Bahrain. How long have you been married?
Since 2000,
2016. You have been associated with this program from 16?
2020.
20.
Since after the lockdown, so I'm sure in our society.
Have you been here during the pandemic? Or?
Not during the pandemic, but after that, I visited the country.
Yeah, your wife is here. You need a permission, is it? Inge? Hyderabad.
They're Kumaraswamy's, Kumaraswamy sir's son from Propex School.
Oh, you have been associated with looking after the school also for helping father? I thought so. Isn't it? Your brother. Hyderabad. Which part of Hyderabad is staying now?
Yeah.
So what about? I met you. Who is their son or daughter? Medical. Do +2 here? Ah, yeah, yeah.
Now he's doing vascular surgery residency. He's in the last year. So I joined Inaugural in 2011. And I changed many things and then I joined the training team in pandemic time.
What about you? You are a local person, is it? Sairam, oh yes, I just got introduced to her.
On that, oh, sorry,
I think I have not missed anyone.
there was a right late. That way.
Sairam, where are you from? Jammu. Jammu is not a troubled place. It's only Kashmir Valley. Jammu has always been fairly peaceful, quiet. Where did you study? Professor in which subject?
Plant science.
Plant science.
That's the career.
In our old days, they used to call it botany. But these days, I suppose the language has been changed, is it? Because you feel that if it is botany, it is not considered a science. So you have to use it to plant science. Part of it, of course, is not taught in the university except in the agriculture university. But were you in the agriculture university? That's the reason why your language itself is agriculture science oriented.
So I joined with the right during the lockdown. In the March
Good.
2020. That was one of the outbreaks.
What's the name? Smriti. Where did you have your education? Oh, Ravenshaw, Ravenshaw. Yep, that's the value. Good. I think I've. Please. You are associated with NCRT, is it? Yes. Please.
And I think NCRT for last more than 40 years. And not this. State last
It is mathematics. Mathematics.
Yes, sir. After retirement, I'm associated with best probably strongly right now.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything?
I was asking, this wife, if she'd like to say something.
I think the husband has covered, I suppose, whatever has to be done. No, I think, especially on mathematics, you really need expert guidance from you to do that.
And he's already run a training course for one training program for us, which was very online. We have done for 90 minutes. For people who create that content for us, all of them attend. So I'm happy to describe.
I've come to hear, not to speak anything, because no, I know. In fact, I think it's really carrying coal to Newcastle. As the old expression goes, now that Newcastle is not having any coal mine. So, and I'll drop in how many days you're going to have?
15.
You have the concluding session on 15 morning?
After,
After.
just before lunch.
Right. Then I'll have something to say at that time. Thank you, ma'am. You carry on with your work. I don't want to delay any further. She normally calculates by minutes, not even by hours. So, I leave all of you to your deliberations. A great pleasure in having known about you and your background. And I do hope. You have been to Chaitanya Jyoti? All of you? Before you go, I think you have a visit. I think you can just see. It or at least gives you some idea about life and teachings of Bhagwan. Of course, the architecture is good. It had come from Far East. The architect is a man from Philippines. Good. Are you going to have your work here or here, sir? So I'll take leave of you, leave you to serious work, and I do hope to see you during the last session. I'll spend some time. Thank you, man. Please leave. Yeah. So we'll see. When we have master done, then we'll do that. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
See you. You're not joining? Still join.
all continue. So,
On laptop also you close. Not mobile.
now we can just continue. I'm just looking for some data I have. Om Shri Sai Ram. Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone who has come from many different places. All of you have come spending a lot of time, money, and energy to serve Swami. So please accept my sincere gratitude for your sacrifice and for your dedication to Swami's mission. I just want to take this moment to tell you that all of us work in the loneliness of our homes, in front of our laptops, in isolation, digitally connected. But whatever output you create is helping this country. There can be, I can't, in today's age and day, I can't think of a better way to express our patriotism, our love for the great nation of Bharat, her culture and civilization, and our debt to society. Because we are all products of the society, and Swami says we should bloom wherever we are planted. So recently we had a meeting with the Minister of Education on 5th of August, Varalakshmi Day. We had a meeting in Delhi. 3 of my colleagues were there and met with Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, and we got some data from the government about how our content is being consumed on diksha.gov.in. This does not include the statistics from our internal website, the LMS. On LMS, the size schools and schools registered with us use our stuff. But this is the 750 revenue districts of India. And I must tell you, one time they sent me a list of the districts. Leh, Ladakh, Kupwara, Anantnag, Pulwama, Baramulla, Sopore, Udhampur, Jammu, Srinagar, Junjunwala, Jaipur, Andaman, Nicobar, Meghalaya. Every state of India is using Manipur. And Chakravarti sir, he's very precise. He wanted to see the data from the 7 sisters in Northeast. Tremendous usage. The highest at that time was Ernakulam, Kerala. The second highest was Mumbai South, Bangalore South, Delhi East, Delhi South, and Pune. Actually, to tell you the truth, the clever teachers who are very smart, they are catching on to this freebie and using it generously in international schools, private schools, because they have the intelligence to recognize what a gold mine it is. They can enliven their classroom with a free resource in a second click of a mouse. So just want to share a little statistics. We have had close to 4,75,000 unique visits to our Diksha content since we started uploading. We started active uploading in March of 2020. We got the project approved and the passport to start uploading on Avatar Declaration Day, 20th of October 2019. But because there was a problem with file formatting compatibility, and the trust invested very heavily to buy a licensed software so that we could convert our file formats of PPTs into HTML files and then start. So count from March of 2020. And so that is, by now it's hardly 2 years, right? 2 years and a few months, 4,75,000 and change unique visits, 1.758 million minutes of usage. I did the math. In less than 2.5 years, people have 24/7, every second, every minute used it for 3.5 years worth. So that's huge usage. And the statistics indicate that every minute, hundreds of teachers are accessing Vidya Vahini because we don't know the name of the user, we know their teachers. So every teacher translate that into 30 to 40 students. So do the math yourself. 80% of the teachers are repeat users. So you can't have a better brand building than that 80% of your users are coming back. And a very large, substantial number of them have logged in more than 3 times. That's a real pat on the back. So with these numbers, I just want to tell you that, in all of you have very busy lives, personal lives, professional lives, so many challenges on your time, and yet you make that focus to sit down and do this. You're really doing something. When India was fighting its independence, we hear of heroes like Bhagat Singh who gave their life. We're not doing anything that heroic, I think, but it's nonetheless, I would not discount what we are doing. Because if there's anything this country needs to come out of poverty, unhappiness, misery, it is education. And it just can't be any education, it has to be education with human values. And that's what Swami came to establish, and that's the legacy he has left behind for us. And he has handpicked and chosen each one of you to be that instrument to make a change in Bharat by doing what is required to bring mass change, like en mass change. We can't do this kind of bulk transformation in speeches or doing any amount of activity. But if the education that is delivered in schools is of very good quality, where a child feels inspired to learn and wants to do more, we have served motherland very well. And of the 5 debts we have to pay to our biological mother, Mother Earth, Mother Tongue, and the Vedamata, and also our motherland. So let's all join and see how we can take our act to the next level. You all are all destined to be Swami's ninjas. You are his instruments. So just go and slay it. I wish you all the best. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sairam ma'am, thank you so much for the statistics. It's really mind blowing and it's really encouraging. And Chakravarti sir's presence was really good. We could not thank him before that he left, but he told he will be joining us. So let's be serious on our business. And without taking much time, I'll just brief about what's agenda for today's these 3 days. So the first one is very simple. We all have seen from childhood, especially when I was a child, I was really fascinated how this butter is going up beyond the limit. The glass, where the glass rim is there, beyond that it goes. So when I studied a little more, then I came to know about cohesion force. But that is now obsolete. Today we'll know something more about the cohesion force from Sister Janaki and Brother Mahesh. And the next session will be churning out. So there will be group discussions. We'll take our present process and we'll do a lot of brainstorming, and we'll see there will be something which, like poison, something will come out which is not required for the present scenario. So those things we'll offer at Swami Lotus feet, and we'll get definitely some Amrit also. So that will implement. And the Amrit doesn't stop there. Swami's blessing, we have nectar and droplets with us in the form of experts. They will give us a lot of exposure, a lot of gyan to take the present process to the next stage. With these 3 sections, we will have our meet for 3 days. Let's pray together. Swami work through us. Let's experience his divine hand behind everything, every moment in this meet. With that, I hand over the mic to Prabha sister and to welcome our team Anahat.
Sairam, my humble pranams at Swami's lotus feet. Invoking Swami's blessing, we start today's session. Ms. Janaki Venkat and Mr. C.S. Mahesh founded in 2005 the Anahat organization. They have trained with the Indian Society for Individual and Social Development. Ms. Janaki is passionate about mythology and participates actively in community development, working with NGOs, rural teachers, and underprivileged children. Mr. Mahesh loves challenging people to confront their personal myths. He has been a facilitator to students of IIMs and people from all walks of life. Anahat offers coaching and training in the areas of leadership, collaboration, and change management. Without much ado, I request Ms. Janaki and Mr. Mahesh to start the session. Thank you. Janaki ma'am and Mahesh.
Sairam, everyone. Thanks, Swami, for this opportunity to continue to work with Vidya Vahini. This is, I think we've been associated with Vidya Vahini for about 3 years, 4 years now.
2018 we started.
Yeah, 2018.
17, 18, yeah.
So we continue to offer, our offering is very small compared to what you are doing. It's mind-boggling to listen to the contributions that you have made possible. We are just going to share with you what we enjoy doing and what we are passionate about through the work that we do today. I think what we want to say is what we heard about your team when we asked Keshava brother a lot of questions about who's coming for this program, what are they looking forward to getting out of this. We learned that you're already a super team. It's not possible to do what you're doing without being a super team. So, it was really about saying, okay, so what can we do? What is the thing that is actually going to take you to the next level, as we're saying? What can help you go beyond the current limits? And for that, I think, I'm going to say something and I'm going to invite Mahesh to say something too. So as we've got, today is going to be an experiential workshop. So we're going to give you lots of activities. We're going to give you opportunities where you can learn from your own experiences. So it's going to be a lot of fun and hopefully a lot of learning also. And as a context for what we're going to do today, I just want to say when you look at a team, there are 3 aspects to it. The task, which is what is the work that we are here to do. The process, how do we go about doing the work? And the third most important thing is the relationships. How do we interact with each other as we do the work that we are doing together? Now, our latest research that we are reading about teams and organizations is, it's this third element that's actually the game changer between being super teams and mediocre teams. How we interact with each other, the quality of our relationships, the atmosphere that we create when we work together. That's the thing that actually lifts teams to perform at that next level. Now, we are all Swami's devotees, so we are much, in a sense, we are aware. We've begun the journey of introspection. We've begun the journey of looking at ourselves, looking at our impact. So I think when we are working on, each of us is on our own journey, I'd like to offer one more bit of research, which is that emotionally intelligent individuals don't necessarily make an emotionally intelligent team. I'll say that again. Emotionally intelligent individuals do not necessarily make an emotionally intelligent team. So our being aware by ourselves, and it's not necessarily going to translate into that. For that, what we require is we need to create a conscious team culture. And in order to do that, we need to, again, as I said, the third element of it, we have to get to know each other better. We have to learn to say, what is the shared norms? How do we create? What are those rules? What is that framework we will create, which will allow each of us to play to the top of our game? And for that, I need to know you and what you do well, and I need to know your strengths and challenges areas. You need to know me and my strengths and my challenge areas, so that you can support me when I need support and challenge me when I need to be challenged also. For that, we need to work intimately. Otherwise, especially in a volunteer setting, we work with many organizations which use volunteer network. Our time is already, every volunteer has got a limited amount of time that they can volunteer. So it's, you're kind of the time is a premium here. So how do we then kind of create a multiplier effect by collaborating more? I think that is Keshava brother's intention. And we hope to offer some insights saying, how can we collaborate and say that instead of aggregating time, we multiply with the contribution that we make. With that, I want to say, if Mahesh wants to add something, and then we get started.
I think Janaki said practically everything that needs to be said.
Actually, even I got very overawed listening to the numbers and things. And what I was reminded of is that we set up our organization in 2005. And after we worked for a few years, the insight I had that we were, and this is how I described ourselves. We said we are very ordinary people doing extraordinary work. And it's really a privilege to sit with another group which seems to be echoing the same sentiments, that we are ordinary people, but together we are doing extraordinary work. And I think that's much better, and what shall I say? It's a much better acknowledgement of a group or a team working together. In fact, as Janaki's research just indicated, very often extraordinary people coming together don't put out extraordinary work. You know, those teams don't work quite as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary work. So I think really this session, what we'd like to invite you is to say, what does it take for ordinary people to do extraordinary work and to continue to do extraordinary work? How do we sustain this? Because that is very often the challenge. It's not that we are ill-intentioned. It's not that we are lazy. We are putting in a lot of hard work. But how do we sustain this? So a lot of times we need to sustain ourselves. And we also need to sustain the collective. Because when we talk about a team, most fundamentally it's a collective, it's a group of people. And that word collective is a very interesting word in English. Because a collective is a group of something. So if I bring a bunch of lions together, what do you call a bunch of lions? Pride. Yeah, a herd of elephants. What about ants?
Army of ants.
Army of ants, or you call a colony of ants. Yeah. Do you know what giraffes are called when they come together? This is a very interesting term. It's actually called a tower of giraffes. Imagine 10 giraffes standing together. How better can you describe it? Yeah. But the nice thing about this is that the moment you make it a collective, there's lots of lions or giraffes or ants or whatever, but that collective becomes one. So even in terms of grammar, you don't treat the plural. You know, when you talk about the herd, you say it. You don't say they. Yeah? So that's the beauty of the collective. That when we become collective, we actually become one in some way. And we refer to it like that. Yeah. So even when a pride of lions is hunting a herd of buffalo, what they try to do is to break up that herd and isolate one person. If they can do that, then they will be well fed. Yeah. So that's the strength of that collective, of what it brings together and how it operates. So as I was preparing for this, the thought that I had was that given the way we work together, what's the difference between a colony of ants and a collective of people? Yeah. Actually, so much research has been done on how the ants do their teamwork. Yeah, there's plenty of research saying they're actually wonderful team workers. Yeah. So what's the difference between how ants do their teamwork and how we as people do our teamwork? We communicate more.
It's not subjective. We are not the same person.
Nice. Yeah. What they do in their teaming is instinctive. What they do is built in. And in some ways, when we as human beings start to come together to work together, we're actually starting from somewhere behind the ants. Because the ants are born with that hardwiring. They already knew what they have to do, and they can do only so much. Yeah. The challenge when people start coming together is that we have to bring consciousness into it. We have to bring in a conscious effort to team. And in many ways, that's what we are inviting you to do today. To say, how can we consciously team? And we are not saying, therefore, that if you have to be a conscious team member, you have to open up your time and make time fully available. No, in fact, you have to bring in consciousness because there are so many constraints against which you are working. Yeah, that's the reason. And so what we're planning to do, and that's why you're seeing so many tables, etc., is there are no slides, there are no presentations. The first thing Keshava brother told us is that all of you are very good at PowerPoint presentation. So we said, we are not going to show you a PowerPoint presentation. So there are no
Advised not to show PowerPoints to you.
So we said we will not bring all that. We will simply do activity and we will spend time learning from the activity, because we also don't know how you work. We don't know your reality. Yeah. So our activities are only triggers. And with those triggers, we'll see what comes up and we'll learn what it takes to actually bring a team together. So that's the invitation. Back to you, John.
Our timelines are going a little awry at the moment, but we should have